Somehow within that relationship, I lost my husband to Dwayne Martin, and they became...
I miss my family.
Care what happens. I'm here to bring the truth at whatever cost that comes.
If you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
But I don't care. I don't care.
A Hollywood love story isn't worth a dime. That's right, you heard it correctly. How can a love story be beautiful when the husband cheats while the wife is pregnant with their first child? Or when a husband abuses his wife for decades just because she questioned his infidelity? These are just two of the 23 shocking stories that will make you question the idea of a perfect love story. If you're ready for even more jaw-dropping revelations, don't take your eyes off the screen. Let's dive into the heart-wrenching truths about how the seemingly picture-perfect love lives of Hollywood stars can crumble in the blink of an eye. Chris Rock, the infidelity addiction that ended a 20-year marriage. Chris Rock, the renowned comedian, and Malik Compton, the passionate social activist, were once the epitome of Hollywood perfection. When they married in 1996, it felt like a fairy tale. Chris, with his wit and charm, promised to bring endless happiness to Malik. But as his fame grew, cracks began to appear in their family life. Chris became more detached, leaving Malik to juggle raising their kids and managing her charity work. Unbeknownst to her, while traveling, Chris was falling deeper into the trap of temptations behind the scenes. In 2012, the first secret surfaced when Chris was caught with a well-known actress in Las Vegas. Malik, heartbroken, confronted him. "Chris, what have you done? Do you have any idea what this is doing to our family?" Chris lowered his gaze, muttering, "I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I just feel empty." But his weak apology couldn't ease Malik's pain. Still, she tried to heal, convincing herself this was just a one-time mistake. She was wrong. Chris didn't change, he kept getting involved in secret affairs. By 2015, Malik discovered a string of suspicious texts on Chris's phone. With deep disappointment, she looked at him and said, "You can't stop, can you? To you, everything's a joke, even our family." Chris didn't argue. He knew she was right. After much reflection, in August 2016, Malik finally filed for divorce, ending their 20-year marriage. Chris later admitted on stage, "I cheated. I was an idiot. I lost the most important thing in my life." Malik, determined, focused on raising their children and her charity work. Eric Benet, the man whose sex addiction destroyed a Hollywood icon's life. Halle Berry, Hollywood's embodiment of grace, captivated the world when she wed Eric Benet in 2001. At first, she believed she had found her perfect match. But the harsh truth soon shattered her illusion. While Halle was away working, Eric felt abandoned at home. His loneliness quickly turned into bitterness. By 2003, their relationship was already crumbling. "You're never around," Eric complained. Halle, worn out, replied, "You know how crucial this job is. I'm doing this for both of us." Then, in 2004, the truth came to light. One night, Halle uncovered troubling messages on Eric's phone. Her heart sank as she read one, "I missed you last night." "Eric, care to explain this?" Halle demanded, holding up the phone with the message. Eric nervously tried to downplay it, claiming it was just a casual chat with a friend, but the look in Halle's eyes made him admit the truth. "I didn't want to hurt you, but I just couldn't help myself. I'm so lonely. I think I have a sex addiction." Halle's voice cracked with emotion as she yelled, "Lonely? Sex addiction? So, you go to someone else to fill the emptiness? You betrayed me just because I wasn't here every day? That's your excuse? To justify all the times you've hurt me? Eric, don't blame me for your mess. You've ruined everything. This marriage is hell because of you." Eric lowered his gaze, silent, unable to defend himself. That confrontation didn't just end in tears, it signaled the end of a love that once seemed unbreakable. Ike Turner, the cruel hand that built a marriage of tears. Once, Ike Turner and Tina Turner were the iconic couple of the music world, Ike, a musical mastermind, and Tina, a powerhouse of a woman with a voice that could move mountains. In 1962, Tina, then known as Anna Mae Bullock, entered Ike's life. He promised to make her a star, and he did. But in return, Tina paid with her freedom and her happiness. Behind the scenes, Ike unleashed a torrent of abuse that would mark her life forever. Her personal tragedy didn't end there. In 1968, Tina learned that Ike was having an affair. When she confronted him, he didn't deny it. But what stung the most was his justification: "You're always focused on music, on the stage. I, on the other hand, need to feel loved." The cruelty reached its peak in 1971 when Ike's drug addiction worsened and his violent rages became more frequent. After a botched recording session, Ike threw a microphone at Tina's face in front of everyone. That night, in the suffocating hotel room, Tina looked him in the eye and said, "You can't keep treating me like this." Ike snapped back, "Without me, you're nothing." Despite the past gratitude and her belief that his temper was a result of his addiction, Tina forgave him yet again. But their relationship never improved. In 1974, Tina discovered that Ike was having an affair with a singer in his band. Through her tears, she told him, "You didn't just betray me, you destroyed my soul. How much more can I endure?" Ike responded, "Destroyed? Do you think you'd have this career without me? Yet you left me all alone, and I had to find someone to fill the void." Once again, Tina felt guilty and forgave him. Then, one fateful night in July 1976, after another violent outburst, Tina finally decided to leave. She walked away with nothing but a few belongings and 36 cents in her pocket. For the sake of freedom, she was willing to start over from scratch. The end of their marriage marked two starkly different futures. Ike, consumed by drugs and obsession, passed away in 2007 in isolation. Tina, on the other hand, rose from the depths of despair to become a global icon, a symbol of resilience in the face of pain and injustice. Terrence Howard, the man who destroyed 2 marriages with his own actions. Terrence Howard, the gifted Hollywood star, seemed to have it all: fame, love, and a happy family with Lori McComas, the woman who gave him her heart. In 1989, they began their marriage in a modest New York apartment, full of dreams and promises. On their wedding night, Terrence told her, "Lori, I will do everything I can to make us happy." Lori believed him, unaware that, in just a few years, those promises would mean nothing. As Terrence's career took off in the late 90s, the distance between them grew. Lori, now a mother of 3, felt neglected. In 2001, she uncovered that Terrence was having an affair with a young actress. The first blow came when he admitted, "I felt overwhelmed and lonely. It made me weak, but it was just a fleeting mistake. I swear." Lori's tears flowed as she responded, "Lonely? You have a family. You have me. And yet you chose to throw it all away?" Despite her heartache, Lori forgave him and gave him another chance. But by 2003, the constant betrayals became unbearable. She filed for divorce, ending their 14-year marriage. Just when it seemed like the end, Terrence pleaded for another shot. "I was wrong, Lori. I'll change. Let me fix this. I promise I won't make the same mistake again." For the sake of their children, Lori agreed to remarry in 2005, hoping for a new beginning. Yet, within a year, Terrence once again succumbed to fame and temptation. In 2006, Lori found love messages on his phone. She looked him in the eyes and said, "You'll never change. I can't keep fighting for us alone." By 2007, Lori had had enough. She filed for divorce once more and left for good. During their final conversation, she said, "I loved you. I forgave you time after time. But you always put yourself ahead of this family." After losing Lori, Terrence admitted, "I loved her, but I didn't know how to love properly. I let my selfishness ruin everything." Lori, having moved on, found peace with her children, while Terrence was left haunted by the woman he had failed to appreciate. Kobe Bryant, a heart lost amidst fame's glare. In 2001, Kobe Bryant, a promising young star, vowed a lifetime of happiness with Vanessa, the woman he fell for at first sight. "I will protect this family with everything I have," he promised on their wedding day. But no one could have predicted that their marriage would be a mix of radiant moments and painful truths. Just 2 years later, in 2003, the first major scandal shattered their world. Kobe was accused of sexual assault, and Vanessa's life unraveled. In front of the public eye, Kobe humbly admitted, "I made a mistake. I betrayed my wife's trust." These words, meant for the world, were also deeply meant for Vanessa. With heartbreak evident in her eyes, Vanessa whispered to herself, "You've destroyed my trust. Everything we built feels like dust now." While the civil lawsuit was settled out of court and Kobe was legally exonerated, the strain on their relationship grew unbearable. As Kobe's career soared, their personal life grew more distant. Long before the 2003 scandal, Kobe had already begun feeling isolated in their marriage. Vanessa, though loving and dedicated, couldn't completely grasp the pressures Kobe faced in the glamorous yet ruthless world of professional sports. As she focused on her own projects, caring for their children, and managing their public image, the passionate conversations of their early years faded into a quiet, lonely routine. This emotional void pushed Kobe into seeking solace elsewhere. In 2010, new revelations of his affairs rocked their world once again. Sensitive photos and messages between Kobe and another woman were exposed. Unable to hold back, Vanessa confronted him, anger and heartbreak in her voice. "How long will this continue?" she shouted, slamming the phone on the table. Kobe, eyes red with regret, responded, "I love you, Vanessa. I don't want to lose you. I wasn't seeking love in those relationships. I just wanted to feel seen, understood, loved. But after each time, I feel emptier than before." Despite her pain, Vanessa chose to stand by Kobe, not because she wasn't hurting, but because love was the only thing that could guide her through the storm. Yet, no matter how much they tried to repair the damage, the scars remained. When Kobe tragically passed in 2020, Vanessa was left with nothing but memories. Through her tears, she said, "No matter how many mistakes you made, you were always the one I loved most." Their love story, marked by heartache, became a powerful testament to the resilience and complexity of love. Dwayne Martin, the two-faced man with hidden secrets. Hollywood has long been a place of glitz and idealized love stories. In 1996, when Tisha Campbell, the rising star from Martin, married Dwayne Martin, they were seen as the picture-perfect couple. Together, they built a promising future, flourishing in both their family and careers. But behind their smiles, trouble quietly seeped into their marriage. In 2012, Tisha began to have doubts after finding a suspicious message on Dwayne's phone. When she confronted him, he casually dismissed it. "You're just overthinking. There's nothing happening." But the truth was much darker than he let on. As time went on, Dwayne spent more and more time away, offering flimsy excuses. Tisha could feel the distance growing, but for the sake of their love and 2 children, she clung to the hope of keeping her family intact, reluctant to face the painful reality. By 2015, rumors about Dwayne's affair with a young businesswoman spread like wildfire through upscale social circles. When Tisha confronted him again, he denied it, but his evasive eyes betrayed him. The most painful part for Tisha wasn't just the betrayal of trust, it was uncovering that Dwayne had secretly stashed away hundreds of thousands of dollars in private accounts. With tears in her eyes, she asked, "Is this how you treat me? I trusted you more than anyone." Dwayne's cold response was, "I need space. I'm tired of living in your shadow. Don't you feel like you overshadow me?" At that point, Tisha could no longer bear it. They quietly separated for 3 years. In 2018, she made the difficult decision to leave him for good, despite the looming tension of an ugly divorce. Financial battles and public accusations turned their split into a media spectacle. After the dust settled, Tisha Campbell, with a heavy heart, rose above it, focusing on her career and rediscovering herself. Meanwhile, Dwayne Martin, once desperate to prove himself, was left to face his own regrets and the emptiness of his actions. Jada Pinkett Smith, the woman who took Hollywood by surprise with her love spiral. In 1997, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith seemed like the golden couple of Hollywood. Will, a rising superstar with an ever-growing career, and Jada, a strong, charismatic woman, were admired and envied by many. But as the years passed, the cracks in their relationship began to surface. By 2015, with Will immersed in his career, Jada found herself increasingly isolated. One evening, unable to hold her frustration any longer, she confronted him. "Do you even realize that I'm still here? I can't keep living in your shadow forever." But Will, lost in his own world, simply responded, "Everything I do is for the family. You have to understand that." Feeling emotionally neglected, Jada found herself in an affair with August Alsina, a young singer. In 2020, Jada opened up about the relationship on the now iconic Red Table Talk show, referring to it as an entanglement, a term that sent shockwaves across the world. With Will sitting by her side, she admitted, "I was wrong. I felt deprived, and August gave me the attention I was missing." Will, visibly hurt but composed, took a moment before responding, "I never expected this, Jada. But I also know I wasn't there when you needed me. Our relationship isn't what it once was." The raw honesty between them was difficult, but it marked a turning point. While the world criticized them, they made the choice to stay together, confronting their past mistakes and agreeing to work through the pain. "We were both wrong," Will said in a private moment with Jada. "But I still want to try. I believe we can fix this." Jada, looking at him with a mix of regret and hope, replied, "I want that too, Will. I want us to heal." Though no longer the perfect couple the world once admired, Jada and Will chose to face their imperfections head-on. They learned to see each other not just as partners, but as individuals with their own struggles and growth. Love, they realized, isn't about perfection. It's about forgiveness, resilience, and the willingness to rebuild what was broken. Kevin Hunter, the betrayer in Wendy Williams' once perfect life. In 1997, in New York, Wendy Williams, the renowned talk show queen, married Kevin Hunter, a confident and ambitious man who promised to stand by her side, both personally and professionally. Together, they were the epitome of a power couple, often seen as symbols of success and happiness. Yet, behind the seemingly perfect facade, a devastating reality was unfolding. As Wendy's career skyrocketed in 2003, Kevin began to feel overlooked. Instead of addressing his feelings, he turned to infidelity to fill the growing emptiness. Wendy, ever the strong woman, had no idea that the very person she trusted most was quietly unraveling everything they had built. The breaking point came in 2019 when it was revealed that Kevin had fathered a child with Sharon Hudson, his longtime secret lover. The tabloids exploded with the news, forcing Wendy to confront the deepest betrayal of her life. "What have you done to our family, Kevin? You've turned me into a laughingstock in front of millions," she cried, devastated by the scandal. Kevin, now desperate, could only offer empty apologies, but it was far too late. Wendy, with a strength she hadn't known she possessed, replied, "You've deceived me. You can leave now. I can't live in these lies any longer." And with that, their 22-year marriage came to a bitter end. Though the divorce was highly publicized, Wendy found a path to peace. She continued to thrive in her career, rising above the betrayal that once threatened to break her. Kevin, left to face the fallout of his actions, realized that it was too late to repair the damage he had caused. Kendu Isaacs, the lying husband and Mary J. Blige's fury. In 2003, Kendu Isaacs entered the life of Mary J. Blige, a woman at the height of her career. They met at a major event, and what felt like a fairy tale romance quickly turned into a whirlwind marriage. To the outside world, they seemed to be the perfect couple, a match made in music industry heaven. But as Mary became more immersed in her career, touring and recording nonstop, the distance between them grew. Kendu, feeling neglected and lonely, began to spiral into his own darkness. While Mary was on the road, he found solace in the arms of a younger woman, someone who made him feel noticed, loved, and important. By 2014, Mary's instincts told her something was off. She wasn't blind to the changes in their relationship. When she checked Kendu's phone, her worst fears were confirmed, affectionate text messages to the other woman. Heartbroken and furious, Mary confronted him with an intensity that shook the foundations of their relationship. "You think I don't know?" she screamed. "You betrayed me. You betrayed this family." Kendu's response was cold, lacking remorse. "You don't understand, Mary. I just wanted to feel loved." Those words, instead of easing the pain, only deepened Mary's fury. His selfish justification made it clear that he wasn't truly sorry, but merely trying to rationalize his actions. The divorce was finalized in 2016, ending a marriage that had once promised so much. But Kendu's request for spousal support added another layer of insult to injury, turning the final chapter into a bitter conclusion. It wasn't just a betrayal of love, it was a betrayal of everything they had built together. In the aftermath, Mary found a cathartic release through her music, channeling the pain into her album Strength of a Woman. This album became a symbol of her healing, her way of reclaiming her power and redefining her life. As she rediscovered her strength, she also found the courage to move on, not just from her marriage, but from the hurt and betrayal. Eddie Murphy, the Hollywood star with the mysterious affair. In the summer of 1993, under the endless blue skies of Malibu, Eddie Murphy and Nicole Mitchell exchanged vows, becoming the epitome of Hollywood's golden couple. To the world, they seemed to have it all: a thriving career, deep love, and a family full of promise. Eddie swore to do everything to make Nicole happy, but little did they know that the foundation of those promises would soon begin to crumble. By 1998, the cracks began to show. Eddie's increasingly busy schedule pulled him away from Nicole, leaving her to juggle their children and home life. While Eddie had the world, he found himself lacking something essential: attention and love from the woman who had always stood by him. Nicole, on the other hand, started noticing strange conversations and behaviors from Eddie. What once felt like unconditional love now seemed distant, like a fading memory. Then, in 2003, Nicole made a shocking discovery: a hidden notebook containing detailed records of Eddie's secret meetings with other women. One entry stood out above the rest. On their anniversary, Eddie had been with a woman named Jessica. The reality of his betrayal hit her hard. But instead of tears, Nicole sat motionless for an entire night, processing the truth in silence. Though Nicole initially tried to keep things together, the weight of the secret notebook continued to grow. She couldn't pretend any longer. In 2005, she made the decision to end the relationship. "I can't live in a relationship without respect and honesty," she said during a meeting with her lawyer, her resolve firm despite the pain. Eddie's reaction was more subdued than she expected. He knew his actions were wrong but couldn't help feeling conflicted. "You'll never understand how I feel, Nicole. I just wanted to feel alive, to escape my own shadow. But I love you, I love the kids." Yet, no matter his reasons, the betrayal was too deep. Nicole couldn't continue living in a love that had become a mere facade. By 2006, after a year of separation, their divorce was finalized. Though they were no longer together, they both made efforts to maintain a civil relationship for the sake of their children. Iman Shumpert rumors destroying love. Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert were once one of the entertainment industry's golden couples, a symbol of perfect love. Their wedding in the summer of 2016 at a luxurious villa in Los Angeles was the pinnacle of happiness. Although their relationship always made the public admire them, after 2 years of living together, the undercurrents began to rise. Iman, the husband always absent due to his busy work schedule, became increasingly distant. Teyana, despite still loving him, felt lonely and didn't receive the attention she deserved. Meanwhile, Iman faced pressure from his declining basketball career, and in his exhaustion, he found comfort in innocent chats with other women. But the silence and the invisible gaps between them were unmistakable signs. By 2020, rumors about Iman's infidelity began to creep into their lives. Every time Teyana heard them, her heart tightened, even though there was no clear evidence. But Iman's absence, the long nights alone, made Teyana unable to avoid the suspicion. She began to feel like she was just a shadow in Iman's life. The day of confrontation came. Teyana waited for Iman in silence, the dim lights, her eyes filled with anguish. When he returned, Teyana said nothing, just silently looked at him. Finally, Iman spoke first, offering an explanation. "I love you, Teyana. I've never done anything wrong." But those words couldn't heal the pain she was enduring. Teyana screamed in sorrow, "You love me? How could you make me feel this way? You've grown so distant, Iman. Do you understand? I can't live in doubt, in long nights alone." Iman, feeling suffocated, approached her. "I know, I'm wrong. But you know, my life has been full of pressure. We're both losing each other. I don't want you to feel this way. I love you, I just don't know how to show it." But Teyana could no longer hold back her sadness. "All I want is attention, is the love I've worked hard to build. Why can't you understand that?" Although there was no evidence that Iman actually cheated, the rumors and the distance in their relationship made both of them reconsider. Eventually, Taylor secretly filed for divorce in January 2023, citing cruel treatment. She had tried to keep it a secret for 10 months prior. Shaquille O'Neal, the collapse of the perfect marriage. Shaquille and Shawnee O'Neal's marriage was once considered the epitome of perfection. When they married in 2002, Shaquille was seen as the ideal husband, with Shawnee by his side as the beautiful, supportive wife. But as Shaquille's fame grew, so did the temptations that came with it. In 2005, Shaquille, no longer focused solely on basketball, found himself drawn into a lifestyle of lavish parties and new relationships. It was a brief encounter with a young woman, but it was enough to ignite a pattern of infidelity that Shaquille tried to keep hidden. By the end of 2007, rumors of his affair could no longer be ignored. Shawnee, heartbroken and disillusioned, confronted him, and the once perfect love story began to unravel. Although filled with guilt, Shaquille's efforts to reconcile were too late. They divorced in 2009. Despite Shaquille's attempt at an apology through his album Shaquille O'Neal, the remorse, the emotional damage he caused was too deep to repair. Robin Thicke, the collapse from fame. Robin Thicke and Paula Patton were once the perfect couple. But as Robin's fame grew, he became increasingly distant. A tour in New York led to a single infidelity with another woman, which would later haunt him. Paula noticed the change. Intimate photos with other women created an undercurrent of distrust that slowly destroyed their bond. In February 2014, Paula confronted Robin, saying, "I can't love a man I no longer trust." Those words shattered them both, but for Paula, the betrayal was unforgivable. Though Robin attempted to make amends with his album Paula, their relationship had already fallen apart beyond repair. Kanye West, from dreamy love to heartbreaking affairs. When Kanye West and Kim Kardashian married in 2014, they became Hollywood's ultimate power couple, admired and envied by all. But behind their picture-perfect image lay a much darker truth. The cracks in their relationship began to show in 2016, when Kanye experienced a mental breakdown, leading to erratic behavior. Though Kim stood by him, her support began to wear thin, and the strain grew. In 2018, Kanye's vulnerability led him into the arms of a young woman in the music industry. Late-night texts and ambiguous conversations slowly replaced the connection he once had with Kim. Kim, ever intuitive, began to notice the change. It was a betrayal she couldn't ignore, and in 2020, she confronted the painful truth. Everything they had built came crashing down. In 2022, they finalized their divorce, marking the end of a marriage once seen as flawless. The scars left by the affair were too deep to heal, and the love that seemed perfect had turned into irreparable heartbreak. Usher, irreparable mistakes. Usher and Tamika Foster once had a picture-perfect love story, with a lavish wedding in 2007 that made the world envious. But behind the glamour and fame, their relationship tells a story of painful betrayal. Despite Usher's dazzling career, he failed to keep the trust of his devoted wife, Tamika. The deception began just a year after their marriage, when Usher got involved in extramarital affairs. Tamika, desperate to hold their family together, tried to ignore the growing sense of abandonment. However, the truth came crashing down when she discovered undeniable messages on Usher's phone. Confronting him, she screamed in disbelief, "Did you really think I was too stupid to notice?" But instead of owning up to his actions, Usher remained silent, making everything worse. What had started as fleeting affairs had escalated into serious relationships, leaving Tamika feeling as though her heart had been torn apart. Ultimately, Tamika couldn't endure the betrayal any longer and filed for divorce in 2009. However, the emotional scars lingered, and the wounds in her heart never fully healed. Neo, what's left after the affairs? Neo and Crystal Renee were once the perfect couple, admired by many. Their extravagant wedding in 2016 seemed like the epitome of love and happiness. But as time passed, cracks began to appear in their relationship. Neo, drawn to the allure of late-night parties and the attention of beautiful women, slowly distanced himself from Crystal. Despite her deep love for him, Crystal couldn't ignore the growing space between them. When she found a suspicious message on Neo's phone, it felt like a betrayal. But the pain didn't stop there. In 2018, Crystal uncovered the full extent of his infidelity, not just once, but multiple affairs with different women. Her world shattered, the betrayal too much to bear. In a moment of fury and heartbreak, she exposed Neo's actions to the public. "You've hurt me more than anyone ever could," she said. After years of emotional turmoil, in 2020, Crystal made the difficult decision to divorce, carrying the weight of the betrayal with her. Neo, filled with regret, apologized, hoping for a chance to make things right. In 2022, despite still being deeply in love, Crystal gave him another chance, and they remarried. However, this time there was no fairy tale romance, only a longing for true, unbroken affection. Jay-Z's The Battle from Marriage to Music. In the summer of 2016, under the bright lights of New York, Jay-Z and Beyoncé's seemingly perfect love suddenly turned to darkness. Beyoncé was forced to confront a painful truth: Jay-Z, the man she had loved and trusted, had betrayed her. When she found the evidence, she was devastated, her heart shattered. "You cheated on me, Jay? What did I do wrong?" Her voice trembled with pain. Jay-Z, struggling to explain, tried to defend himself. "Beyoncé, I don't know how to explain. I was wrong, I know. But those were moments when I felt lost, when I didn't know who I was anymore." However, forgiveness was not so easily granted. Beyoncé did not stay silent. She poured her heart out through her music, releasing the album Lemonade. "Thanks, but I don't need you anymore / rejecting all apologies. You are not worth it," she sang in the song Sorry, and Jay-Z could feel the weight of her rejection with every word. But Jay-Z refused to give up. His album 444 became his public apology, where he admitted his mistakes. "I know I was wrong," Jay-Z confessed in the title track. Over time, his apology was accepted, and their relationship began to heal. Their story showed that love is not always perfect. It's a constant battle to keep each other, to grow, and to learn from the mistakes made along the way. Carmelo Anthony's husband's affairs, wife's lifetime hurt. Carmelo Anthony and Lala Anthony appeared to be the perfect couple, with a grand wedding and a seemingly love-filled relationship. But behind the facade, their marriage slowly descended into a painful nightmare that no one could see coming. In 2016, while Carmelo's career soared, he became entangled in lavish parties and surrounded by beautiful young women. Lala, although busy with her own work, began to feel the distance between them. What she didn't know was that the betrayal had already begun. In 2017, LaLa's worst fears were confirmed when she found irrefutable evidence of Carmelo's affairs on his phone. Texts, photos, and other incriminating messages shattered her heart. Carmelo, filled with regret, could only offer the excuse, it was just a moment of weakness. But for Lala, the pain was too much. Though they briefly separated, their deep connection kept pulling them back together. The love was there, but the wounds of betrayal made it impossible to fully heal. After much contemplation, Lala made the painful decision to file for divorce in early 2021. Dwayne weighed the horrifying truth about the love child. At the end of 2013, the seemingly unbreakable marriage between Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union suddenly fell apart in a way no one could have anticipated. While they were temporarily separated due to the pressures of work and fame, Dwayne secretly had an affair, resulting in a child with another woman. The nightmare hit when Gabrielle received a shocking photo from a close friend, proving that Dwayne hadn't just cheated but had fathered a new life. Could he really do this? "He betrayed me," Gabrielle screamed, her heart shattered by a pain that would never fade. The next day, Dwayne admitted everything, his voice full of regret but unable to change the truth. "I know you'll be angry, but I need you to listen," he tried to explain, but no words could soothe the hurt he caused. Despite the devastation, Dwayne didn't give up, taking action to prove he could change. After months of working to repair their relationship, Gabrielle decided to give him a chance. While their relationship could never return to what it was, they worked together to heal the wounds and try to rebuild trust. Offset the journey from deceit to regret. In the summer of 2020, just when everything seemed perfect in Offset and Cardi B's marriage, an unexpected shock shook their world. Cardi B found irrefutable evidence of Offset's betrayal, and the painful realization of the multiple affairs he had hit her like a knife to the heart. "Did you really do this to me, to this family?" Cardi B's voice shook but was firm, screaming in despair. Offset stood frozen, his eyes filled with fear, unable to find the words to explain. The love they had built together was now shattered by the unforgivable lies. Cardi B's fury erupted. She could no longer live in the lie, unable to bear the weight of the betrayal any longer. She filed for divorce, determined not to let the wound deepen any further. "You've ruined everything," she said coldly. "I can't keep living this lie." It seemed their marriage was over. But after sleepless nights and heartfelt conversations, Cardi B decided to withdraw her divorce petition. She chose to give her husband another chance, not just out of love, but because she realized that no one is perfect, and sometimes healing takes time. Ime Udoka, the affair scandal that destroyed everything for Nia Long. In 2022, everything suddenly collapsed when Nia discovered the earth-shattering truth. Ime, the man she had loved and trusted for over a decade, had cheated on her with a staff member from the basketball team. The sight of it was a fatal blow that tore apart their love. "Why? Why would you do this? I trusted you, and now you betray me when everything was going perfectly." Nia screamed in pain, unable to comprehend how the man beside her could be so cruel. Ime, full of regret and face red with embarrassment, apologized, but all the words were meaningless. A relationship built over many years was now left with emptiness and hurt. Although Ime publicly apologized, Nia, with a broken heart, couldn't easily forgive. Their breakup was inevitable, and Udoka was suspended from the Boston Celtics due to the affair allegations. Kevin Hart, an apology that couldn't erase the pain. In the spring of 2017, the happy life of Kevin Hart and Eniko Parrish was shattered. Eniko, who was pregnant with their first child, was hit with the biggest shock of her life when a video surfaced showing Kevin drunkenly interacting with another woman, exchanging intimate gestures in the dark. That was the moment everything broke. The feeling of betrayal during the most important time of her life left her breathless. Kevin, flustered and remorseful, immediately recorded a public apology. "I love her, I love our family, and I've hurt everyone." Though it was painful, Eniko ultimately decided to forgive Kevin. She understood that marriage isn't always a smooth path, and sometimes forgiveness is the only way forward. She didn't want their son Kenzo to grow up in a broken home. In the end, by the end of 2017, they welcomed their son Kenzo and stayed together, proving that love and forgiveness can heal any wound. Tight affairs and financial deceit behind the glamour of showbiz. In 2016, late one night in a lavish mansion in Atlanta, Tiny Harris sat alone on the sofa in the spacious living room, dim light reflecting in her eyes. She had just read a series of messages and rumors circulating on social media. Accusations from strangers, along with evidence of infidelity and financial fraud, pushed her relationship with T.I. to the brink. Her heart shattered as suspicions about T.I. were no longer rumors but undeniable truth. T.I. couldn't explain why he did it. He understood he had done wrong and couldn't deny the temptations beyond his control. He couldn't fathom why there were moments when he felt he couldn't stop. After everything exploded, Tiny decided to leave T.I., choosing to take space to think about the future. They separated in 2016, but the turmoil in their lives couldn't diminish the love between them. In the end, the couple worked to repair their marriage and dismissed the divorce petition in 2017. So, we've just faced the heartbreaking truth about 23 famous African Americans who hid dark secrets and ruthless betrayals. From affairs to acts of treachery and love, each story carries the untold pain of those involved. The feeling of betrayal, abandonment, the suffering, the hidden sides behind their seemingly perfect marriages have now been revealed. What do you think about these stories? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more secrets behind the Hollywood spotlight you might not know.